$25,000 worth of HO scale locomotives. Approximately 250 locomotives. If you average $100 per locomotive, $25,000. And not a single dummy down here in the basement. I have a few that are shells that I'm waiting for chassis, just a few. That one's for my son. So 100 of them, approximately 100 of them I've painted, and they're all custom. And to prove that, I'm not going to show you every single loco. This is the only one that I didn't paint. I bought that off eBay. I just finished it. It didn't have grab irons and it didn't have handrails. So I finished that one. But here, look at all the... I recommend buy the decals for micro scale. They're going to be better quality. And some of these, most of the micro scale, you can do 2 locomotives, and I've done 2 locomotives per each one of these. Okay, and then here's highball graphics. Most of the highball graphics you can only do 1. Some of them you can do 2. It depends on the decal. And then I also recommend buying the parts from the manufacturer. Like this Montana Rail Link is waiting for axles from Athearn. And the best thing to lubricate your axles and your gears is synthetic automotive transmission fluid. Automatic transmission fluid for your automobiles, because locomotive manufacturers, they put this grease in there, and after some time they get old, it gets really thick and they don't work very well. So let me show you real quick. This is basically a list. There's like 30 on each page of the locos that I have. The pink ones belong to my son, and this is a roster that I use. I try to do everything prototypical. If it fits into this, I don't like the Heritage 3. I don't like the wedge, the swoosh. I don't like that. I can do a Tier 2 Gevo and Tower 55, Athearn, and I can't think of it right now. They make those. I can still get those off eBay. And this is a list of locos I want to do in the future. I don't have those Tier 2s down on the list. But anyway, I still plan on doing some more custom locomotives. And I've got locomotives all over. All over the place, locomotives. There's my 1 mile long coal train. See, there's some locomotives down there in that yard. I watched a video this morning, somebody, I won't say who he was, showing his locomotives, and he had a nice place on his layout. It was really nice looking scenery. And he kept bringing his locomotives over to that area to show them, because people requested to see his locos. I don't like to handle mine a lot. Okay, these are all my locos. BNSF right here. And I do have a lease unit there. I don't handle them, try not to as much as possible. And then I want to mention this one right here. This is an Atlas I got off eBay. It used to have a sound decoder in it, but it got burned up. So the guy sold it for like 30 bucks off eBay. Wait a minute, pause again. Okay, it's an Atlas-8. I have a few decoders that have lighting issues, so I put that decoder in this loco here, and I didn't worry about the lights because everything was burned up in it except for the motor. So I put the lights in there this winter, and you know Atlas Gold, you can't flash the ditch lights, so there's really no benefit to having Atlas Gold. But on this one here, because I did the lighting, okay, I can flash the ditch lights, which makes it better than the Atlas Gold. All right, let me show you something else. I'll show you about the ditch lights, how I do them. All right, a lot of the Catos, the Dash 9s, and the AC 4400s, and the newer mid-production SC40s, well, not those. Those you can flash the ditch lights. But this is a Cato, and basically what I've done here is I've glued some fiber optic plastic to the plastic inside the shell that does the lighting. See, I got ditch lights. I can't flash them, and they go on and off with the main light. But that's how I did a lot of these Catos. I didn't do that 6001 like that. Let me pause. All right, this is 6001. And I have a lot of lens decoders that I'm not able to flash the ditch lights, but I can turn them on and off. Right there, see? And I can dim the headlight. So that's one way. And then I'll show you how I make the ditch lights. I make my own ditch lights out of plastic. All right, I take and I drill a hole in the center of this plastic, and then I glue it to a strip of plastic, and then I cut them down, and I drill through all the way, and then I take this larger fiber optic cable here that fits into that. I cut pieces out, and you want to make sure they're both the same length when you're putting ditch lights on the Loco, because the length will change a little bit of the brightness. So you cut them out and you need to glue them in there, but you want to make sure you use a lot of glue, because this is what happens. All right, this Loco here, this is at Caslow Shops. I did a really nice job on that. And one of the last things I did was the ditch lights. I don't paint them until I get them installed on the Pilot. And some of the paint came through and got to the LED, and it's kind of pinkish. It's hard to tell, but the one on the right is pinkish. Okay, and for me to fix that, I'd end up destroying it. So I just leave it alone as is. All right, and then I keep mentioning my son's locomotives that I have in boxes here. They're not empty boxes, and none of them are dummies, okay? They either have a decoder or they don't have a decoder. All these that you see that I've opened up have decoders in them. And these are empty boxes that go to those locos. I'll show you those locos I've been working on. Every one of these has a decoder in it. And to prove that, I'll just randomly pick out a locomotive. This one right here. Let me pause. Get the number there, see? I'm going to put that on the track. All right, I got this one. These CPs are my son's locomotives, and I don't do a whole lot to them. I had some black paint, oily black. I had some paint I wanted to use up before it dried, and I went ahead and I did all the vents and grills, but I'm not going to weather it. I'll let him do that if he wants to do that in the future. He doesn't come here and play with these. I don't know why. He's 32 years old. And anyway, see the Kato? You can't do anything with the ditch lights other than if you turn on all the lights that come on. You can't flash them. But I know how to fix that. Right here. This is one of mine, and I will customize mine. Okay, I can turn the ditch lights off. Well, maybe not on that one. It depends on the decoder. But I got this one flashing. I got a lot of different decoders, and some of them I can't turn off the ditch lights. Some of them I can. So I just grabbed one right away. And what are these ditch lights? I probably didn't show you what these are. These come from China. These tiny little LEDs. Very, very small. Okay, and that's the part that lights up. And then what you do is you cut the plastic that goes down to that, and then you bring that LED up in there, and you leave the plastic. I think I left the plastic on there, and you glue it to the back of that, inside that. Let me turn it off. Back inside there, you glue it inside there, and it's just a wire runs up to the decoder. Okay, let me pause. All right, I did handle this to pull this out from where it was parked to show you. But other than that, for me to show you every single locomotive that I have down here on the layout, I'm not going to pick them up and show you. You're just going to have to trust me. Like here's another nice one with Caslow cab. All right, here's this loco. And I do have a lot of these ditch lights that need adjustment. They're too bright compared to the regular headlight. And this, not on track all the way. But trust me, they all have decoders that are on the layout, and every one in the box has a decoder. And then these right here are all Catos. I don't have wiring harnesses for these. You need a wire harness in order to put the decoder in, unless you use a decoder that plugs into the pin directly, and I don't really care for those. I'd rather have the wiring harness. You can put the ditch lights on it and stuff like that, if you want to someday do ditch lights on that. So these don't have decoders. They don't have wiring harness. These have wiring harness. They don't have decoders. There's what, 9 of them there. So that's basically my video there. You know, I do have videos on YouTube, custom locomotives parts 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you want to see some of my older custom jobs. But this is one of my newer right here. I'm waiting for a chassis on that. Okay. Thank you.